In 2018, a low-level Pentagon analyst named Evan Grant was reviewing satellite transmissions from a deep space listening post in Alaska. The post was designed to monitor faraway cosmic signals, mostly static from stars, sometimes old radio waves from Earth bouncing back. But that day, he noticed something strange, a pattern. It wasn't just noise. It sounded almost like a whisper, very faint, almost human. At first, he thought it was just interference. But the signal had a repeating rhythm. It came exactly every 47 hours, down to the second. Even more odd, it came from a region in space known as the Silent Belt, a zone where, for decades, no signal had ever been recorded. He reported it. His superiors dismissed it as a glitch. But the signal kept coming. Grant grew obsessed. He pulled data from old archives and found that this same whisper had actually appeared before, once in 1996 and once again in 2009, but was ignored both times. Each instance lasted for about 11 months before going silent. Then something even stranger happened. A deep space satellite, designed to study gamma rays, malfunctioned after the whisper signal passed through its location. Engineers couldn't explain it. The satellite systems didn't crash. They simply stopped recording. As if they had never existed. The logs were wiped, and it stopped responding. No explosion. No damage. It was just gone. That's when the Pentagon took notice. They formed a secret task force called Project Echoglass, buried under NASA and the Department of Defense. Grant was pulled in, and given Level 6 clearance, a level so high that only 3 U.S. presidents had ever been briefed on it. Here's where things turned terrifying. The team used multiple satellites to triangulate the source of the signal. It came from the edge of the solar system, far beyond Pluto. But the more they studied it, the more they realized it wasn't just a signal. It was a network, a web of faint transmissions, all whispering in unison from multiple points in deep space. They began to call it the Whisper Network. And it wasn't just whispering random sounds. When processed through advanced software, the signals formed a low-frequency voice pattern. The AI translated it as a warning. Over and over, in different languages, it repeated, "They are listening. Do not reply." At first, the message seemed like a joke, a hoax. But then the AI detected a reply. Not from Earth, but from somewhere inside the solar system. It was brief, only 2 seconds long, but it said, "We are aware." That single response caused an emergency lockdown in the Pentagon. All data was pulled from public servers. Even NASA's solar observation logs were redacted. According to leaked documents, the president was briefed in a bunker 2 miles below Andrews Air Force Base. Within weeks, strange events began to happen. First, a team of Echoglass scientists stationed in Greenland went missing. All 14 of them. No distress signal. Their base was found empty, their equipment still running. Food was half-eaten. The coffee was still warm. But not a single person was ever found. Then came the case of Dr. Linnea Volkov, a Russian-American astrophysicist who'd been secretly working with Echoglass. She began receiving signals through her pacemaker. Doctors said it was impossible, but her heart monitor was translating radio signals into Morse code. Her journal, which was found after she vanished, contained one haunting line written repeatedly. "They walk in the shadows between the signals." She disappeared 2 days later. Security footage from her apartment showed her standing in her kitchen, then suddenly vanishing mid-frame. No glitch. No editing. Just gone. And the whispers grew louder. The signal started affecting military aircraft. In 2020, an F-22 Raptor on a training mission over the Arctic reported voices in the pilot's headset. The pilot, Lieutenant Marcus Hale, radioed in saying, "I can hear them. They know my name." Seconds later, his jet went into a steep dive and vanished from radar. No wreckage was ever found. It became clear to the Pentagon, the Whisper Network wasn't just a signal. It was intelligent. It wasn't trying to communicate, it was listening. And it was inside the solar system. Then came the biggest revelation of all. Using deep spectrum imaging, Echoglass found something terrifying near the orbit of Neptune, a black object, over 30 miles wide, perfectly still. It emitted no heat, no light, and absorbed all radar pings. They called it the Sentinel. When they aimed a tight beam laser signal at it, the Whisper network went silent for the first time in recorded history. 4 hours later, every satellite within 1 million kilometers of the object was fried. Then 1 week later, the Whisper network returned, but this time, the message had changed. It no longer said, "They are listening. Do not reply." Now it said, "The gate is not yours to open." This was the final straw. The Pentagon issued a classified directive: no further contact. No research. No signals in or out. The Whisper network was now considered a Class X existential threat, a threat not just to national security, but to humanity itself. The public was never told. Instead, stories were leaked about UFOs, weather balloons, Chinese spy tech, anything to keep eyes looking in the wrong direction. Meanwhile, Echoglass was disbanded. All surviving personnel were either reassigned or went missing. But here's the part that will send chills down your spine. In 2024, an amateur radio operator in New Zealand recorded a strange signal on a homemade deep space receiver. He uploaded it to a public forum before his account was deleted. The file was downloaded only 7 times before being scrubbed from the internet. 1 copy survived. It was analyzed by an independent tech group. The signal contained coordinates. When plotted, they pointed directly to Earth. And the message? They have chosen a voice. It begins now. Since then, conspiracy forums have gone dark. Accounts deleted. Researchers vanished. One whistleblower claimed that the Pentagon is monitoring all radio signals from deep space in real time, not to find alien life, but to make sure we don't answer back. They fear that we're being watched, not as equals, but as a test. And the Whisper network? It's not trying to warn us. It's trying to contain us. The biggest fear inside the Pentagon isn't invasion. It's that someone somewhere might eventually answer. And when they do, we'll finally know the truth. We were never alone. We were just never invited.